Hey, 7th grade. Mr. Hildebrand here. It is that time of year in history class, time of year that gives a lot of students anxiety. It is TDA time. Okay, if you're not sure what TDA is, it's text-dependent analysis. Basically, we read an article together. We have a big prompt, a big question, and then we answer that question by writing an analysis or writing an essay, okay, in paragraph form. Now, that gives a lot of people anxiety, stresses them out. I don't want that to happen to you. Okay? I want to promise you that we're going to work through it together, and I'm here to help you. So this video is kind of an introduction. Hey, what are the basic steps? How do I do this in general? And then I'm going to go into each part bit by bit and break it down and show you what you're doing. That way, you can always come back to these videos and I can help you out. So let's get started. You have found your way to the first week. The first thing we're going to do is open up this class kick. So you go to Monday, we see we're going to read a Roman food article. We open it up on class kick. So click on the class kick. It will pop open. If you are on the app, okay, this will be your code right here that you put in. But if you're on your Chromebook or something like that, or went through Canvas, okay, you can just click the link. But you put in your name, click continue. Now, folks, this is really important. We're going to use this class kick every day. If you put in a different name every time, you're going to have to restart every time. So make sure you put your first and last name. You spell it the same way every time. You capitalize your first letter, your first name, your first letter, your last name. It has to be exactly the same. If you keep switching it up, use nicknames, it's going to get lost. Okay? So it's got to be the same way every time. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is the steps, what we're going to do together this week. So the steps for writing a text-dependent analysis essay. First, we're going to go over what the question is. We're going to circle some key words. We're going to underline some stuff, talk about what the heck is this question even asking us. Then we're going to restate the question as a thesis, leaving some blanks at the end for our evidence. Then we will actively read the passage. So we're going to read through the article a second time, looking for evidence. Then we're going to map out our answers. So we're going to kind of set up in a diagram how we're going to actually answer this question. Then we're going to write our essay, okay, using our map as a guide and looking at the rubric so we know how we're being graded. We will strategically repeat words from our thesis. We're going to repeat evidence we see in the article. And we're going to have an intro paragraph, some body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Okay? And at the very end, we're going to reread what we wrote, edit our response. My tip for you is read it out loud so you know what it sounds like. So that's the first slide. If we click this little arrow, it will take us to the next one. This tells us all about how to annotate a text. Okay? So annotating is when you're interacting with the text. You're writing on it questions, comments, you're circling, underlining, drawing symbols. Wherever you find evidence, wherever you have questions, connections. And basically why we annotate is when you annotate a text and you write all over it, you graffiti it up with connections and questions, it helps you remember what you're reading. Helps you understand, remember, and then when you need to go back to it, you find it quicker. You can use it easier. So what we're going to do, okay, when we annotate is before we read, we're going to number our paragraphs. That way when we say, in paragraph 5, the article states this. It's easier for us to talk about it, know where we can find stuff. So we're going to number our paragraphs. We will circle unknown words, words that we don't know. We will write the definitions when we look them up in the left margin, the left space that's blank. We're going to underline main ideas, okay, of each paragraph or each section. We will comment, so any comments or ideas or connections we'll put in the right-hand side. Come up with the main ideas there. We will paraphrase the main ideas to the left, so kind of summarize the paragraph. We'll write any questions or anything we have on the right. And then we will explain different connections to maybe other texts, articles, books, TV shows, other media, whatever you've seen before. We'll make sure we put our connections on there. After we're done reading, okay, we're going to summarize what was the author's purpose. Okay, why did they write this? Was it to entertain? Was it to inform? Was it to argue something? Was it to explain something? Okay, so we'll do that at the end. Next step of this will be the article. So this is what we're going to read together. If you notice, the article is 2 pages, so we'll read it together. We'll use ClassKick to annotate. Okay, so we can add text box anywhere we want. Okay, write stuff, get rid of it if we want. We can use the highlighter tool to highlight stuff, even change the color. Okay, we can take our pen and write things. Okay, lots of different things we can do to annotate this text. We will be filling out our essay map together. So we will go through and write down our prompt here. We will identify our verbs, what it's asking us to do. What are some of the key words? After we do that, we'll start in making a thesis, and we'll leave some blanks. That way we can fill in our evidence after we really read the article. We will also come up with a claim. Okay, so that's our point. What point are we trying to prove? We're going to come up with 3 of those, 3 major points that we want to prove. We'll come up with our data. That's our evidence. That's stuff from the article that backs up our point. Okay, that proves that we're right. And then our analysis. That's from our brain. Okay, and it's basically explaining everything. How does this data prove our point? How does it prove that we're right? So we'll do that together. And then we'll write a conclusion. We're going to remind our readers of everything we said. All right, once we're done all that, we're going to head on over to Google Docs, and we're going to type up our essay. And I'll have a whole nother video giving you tips and information on how to do that. On this slide, you will find the rubric for grading the essay. I know some people's devices, it comes out a little fuzzy. If that's you and you can't read it, you can't zoom in, send me an email. Okay, I've got other copies of this I'd love to share with you. I can send one back. But this is how we'll be graded. And then after I grade your essay, I will give it back to you. And then I will actually give you a reflection sheet. You'll go through after looking at my comments, looking at the grade you got, and you'll fill out the reflection sheet. Okay, and how you did, what you could do better, what you really crushed and did a great job at. And so we'll do that all together. Okay. All right, so that's our quick introduction. I will post specific directions on how to do things on some other videos, which I'll share with you. All right, thanks everybody.